everybody, this is Alchemist 2, and I'm back again with another animated movie review. Sorry, now you can hear me a little bit better. My microphone was lost in my locks. Um, I watched this late in the wee hours of the morning because I just, for some odd reason, I couldn't sleep. I think it was because of the tea I drank for dinner. Never again. I can't have tea and then try to go to sleep because the caffeine in the tea keeps me up. But anyway, that's all beside the point, and that detracts from what I'm really going to talk about. I finally got a chance to see Weird Sisters, which is the first DVD in the series of Discworld. And you can see the continuity between the two, especially in the pub scene when you get a chance to meet the bartender and you think, oh yeah, he's familiar, and the orangutan, they have him back. And I thought that was very funny. Um, Death is involved, of course, like he was in the second one. He plays a lesser role in this particular installation than in Soul Music, which he is far funnier in the second one. He has funnier lines, and he's more wry and sardonic in his humor. That's why I love Terry Pratchett so much. The animation is really great. I mean, it's not the most high class that you would think of, but you don't really have to have high class animation for it to be enjoyable. It doesn't have to be perfect or, you know, Pixar grade animation. No, this is very enjoyable, and there's a lot of double entendres that are used, which the British are well known for doing. And they're very clever, and I got all of them, even though I was halfway dead when I watched the series, and um, it was very likable. The only thing I have to nag about was it should have been done like the second one was, because I could tell when there were cutaways. Like in the second one, they have episodes when you see the credits and the turtle and the elephants holding the world, the disc basically on the turtle's back and everything. I usually pass by that because it's not important. It just introduces Discworld and the whole idea that it's a flat world that's carried along through space on a turtle's back, held up by elephants. But you know, it's very random. And in this particular installation, we get to hear the Hedgehog song, which is great, and the Wizard's staff. The Wizard's staff reminds me of the Scotsman's kilt, and yeah, it's body, and yeah, you get the double entendres from that one, and it's hysterical, but you don't get to hear the whole song, which really kind of was a downer for me. I wanted to hear the whole song. It's like a limerick. Yeah, limericks are kind of naughty in their way. Many of them are. Uh, I really don't know what else to say about the series itself, but it takes a character that you would not suspect to be intelligent. Actually, he plays dumb, and he's not, and he's a fool. You know, a motley fool, of all things. And the plot is taken from Shakespeare. If you know your Shakespeare, then you're gonna love this because it's just so deliciously crafted and done. It's just brilliant. Um, I adored it. I absolutely loved it, and I don't like it so much as I like Soul Music, because Soul Music I thought was just funnier and subdivided into chapters, which I just thought made more sense rather than making a whole movie. And some of the cutscenes were a little bit abrupt, and they made sense, and they just weren't done well. That's the only um, nag I have. It's just a small quibble because it's really a great series, and I love all the characters, and the plot in and of itself is, you know, it sounds simple enough, but it really isn't. Because what happens is a king is murdered and his son is stolen, and these three witches, they're all different in their personalities. Each of them, I think they just represent a different type of perspective in life. And each in their own way, they're all very redeemable, and they all have their honor in among themselves. And they're good, they're good characters, and they mean well, and they have hearts, and they are not your typical witches. But they find the king's son, and basically, well, actually, he's brought to them, and the I think it's a scribe or a messenger or maybe a knight who brings, it's probably a servant who had spirited the boy away. But he has brought them to the witch's cove or grotto, just this place out in the middle of nowhere where they gather out in nature. Um, and by the time he brings the king's son to them, he gets stabbed in the back by another one of the messengers, who is afraid that he would have blood on his that servant's blood on his hands, and basically flees. And the whole thing is very amusing in and of itself, because the child is raised, and I'm not going to say what happens, but there's a twist that makes it even more intriguing, and there's a bit of time and space involved with a spell later on, um, in advancing the years forward. I'm not going to say what that involves, but it's really intriguing, and I like Terry Pratchett's humor and wit, and his his clever use of words. And one of the things that I thought was, I think this was actually, it could have inspired that very episode of Doctor Who. And I realized there was a quote that was involved, and words have power. I thought, yes, they do. And I thought, you took that from this. I wonder if Terry Pratchett knew. But anyway, it's not like he can sue for that, but I now know where that is coming from, and it's very true in and of itself. The pen is indeed mightier than the sword, and words do indeed have power. And they can get into a whole philosophical discussion about that, which I won't do. But if you want to see what the collection looks like, it's really nicely packaged. But I like the illustration on the front of the sisters themselves, if you can see it. It's really quite beautiful, and there's a lot of detail. Uh, the cartoons are a little bit different, but you don't really think that much about it, because even though it's lower quality drawing and whatnot, it doesn't matter. The voice actors and actresses that are involved, they are just absolutely spectacular. And the king who is a part of this story, well, the one who's the murderer, he's a little bit daft. I mean, he's just completely off his rocker. And one of the buzz phrases that he says is, "I hate this kingdom," and you hear him saying that over and over again. But it's funny every single time he says it. And I don't know how they do it, but later on, he my favorite scene with that particular nutty king, or king to be, trying to usurp the throne, is when he believes that he has been killed. And he has this sheet on, and he's going around going woo, and he's pretending to be a ghost. And of course, I'm not gonna reveal anything about that, but it's that's when death is still there, and the original king is still hanging around in the astral plane. I mean, in the earthbound, he's earthbound. Um, so it's very fun and enjoyable and entertaining, and just really sparkling in dialogue. And they make light of Shakespeare, which reminds me of the complete works of William Shakespeare, which, if you haven't seen it, see it, because it's really, really good, and it's hysterical. If it's a little bit zany for probably some people, but I absolutely loved it because I knew everything that was going on, and they even make the tragedies funny. And one of the lines in the beginning that was my favorite was when the sisters are together, and one of them says, "Somebody comes," and another one says, "Do you know that by the pricking of your thumbs?" And she says, "No, I know that by the pricking of me ears." And I just died at that. I thought that is so perfect. That is one of the best lines I've ever heard, and it's just very innovative and different, and just shows you how creative these writers are. I think they had good guidance under Mr. Pratchett, and it's basically all I have to say about Weird Sisters. And I highly recommend it for anybody who's a Terry Pratchett fan. It's outstanding. So if you have a chance to watch it, do it because it's really fun, and it's just tremendous. I give it 2 thumbs up and 5 stars, which is my highest mark that I usually give for an animated feature of this kind. So check it out.